Okay, we've finally come to the final concept that we need to understand in section 2, and that is virtual private cloud peering. Now, it's not a overly asked about part of VPC in the exam, but you might get a question pop up. I would say only one, possibly two, but no more than that. But that might be the question that gets you over the line, so let's see if we can try and understand it. So here's an overview of what it is, and basically it's a connection between two VPCs that enables you to route traffic between them using private IP addresses. Okay, that seems pretty straightforward. Instances in either VPC can communicate with each other as if they were in the same network, or you can create a VPC peering connection between your own VPCs, or with VPCs in another account in single regions. So in a nutshell, VPC is a connection between two VPCs, and it's called a VPC peering connection. Once again, a picture's worth 1,000 words, and this is a very simple diagram of shared services VPC. So VPC A has VPC peering connections to all these other VPCs, B, C, D, E, F and G. Now one thing to note is that one thing you cannot do, if F wanted to talk to E, it can't go through A. It needs its own peering connection. Okay, and some of the core services, authentication, directory, monitoring, logging, remote administration, and scanning. Excuse me. Things to consider about VPC peering is security groups are not supported across peerings, so you need to specify rules by IP prefix. No transit capabilities is what I just talked about before, meaning you can't connect access. Okay, excuse me. Example: cannot access VPC-P from A via B. Workaround is create a direct peering. So if we go back to this diagram, it's exactly what I said. If C wants to talk to B, can't go via A, needs its own peering connection. Another thing is your addresses can't overlap, but you can use subnets, routing tables to pick the VPC to use. Again, let's try see if we can illustrate the point a bit better with a question. And the question is, which of the listed options best describes what a VPC peering connection allows you to accomplish? Okay, let's go through them one by one. A, to route traffic between the peer VPCs using private IP addresses as if they are part of the same network. That sounds pretty close. To route traffic between any two VPCs, not really. To peer at traffic between two VPCs, that's completely wrong. Just one point here: if you're doing an exam and you don't know the answer, like let's say you have no idea about this question, try and eliminate obviously wrong answers. So to me that just sticks out as completely wrong. To peer at traffic, that's absolutely nothing to do with a peering connection. So I could rule that out, and then then have a look at the question, and these two are very similar, so I'm thinking it's one of these. So what's the difference between this? Route traffic between private IP and this one's public IP. Okay, so if you remember back at this other slide, I'll jump back a few. Okay, and our definition of VPC peering connection is a networking connection between two VPCs that enable you to route traffic between them using private IP addresses. Okay, excuse me for jumping through these slides like this. Okay, so guess the answer is going to be A. Correct. So I'll leave you to read the rest of that answer there, but because I already illustrated the point by going back and reading the definition of the VPC. But it might pay you to read through that and try and understand some other concepts in there. Okay, so that brings us to the end of section 2, and I thought I'd leave you with this point, that I cannot overstate the importance of fully understanding VPCs for passing the AWS Solutions Architect Associate exam. Now, if you can take anything out of this course, that is what you need to take out of it. If you feel like you're very, very confused about VPCs, and don't worry, everybody is when they first start, best way to do it is first of all go through this again, possibly, and also make sure you get some hands-on VPCs. And I'll just bring up what we've gone through. I'll just jump back a few slides. And yes, what I stated at the beginning before we started on our journey through the VPC is the best way to fully understand it is to design your own infrastructure on AWS and incorporate all of the concepts listed. So this is what we've been through: public and private IP addresses, security groups and NACLs, route tables, internet gateways, NAT instances, network interfaces, all the scalability stuff with and without elastic load balancing. And finally we went through the virtual private cloud peering. So this is what you need to pass this exam, to understand all these concepts and how they all interrelate and tie in with each other. And finally, let's jump back and find ourselves at the end of this section. So that is VPC, designing highly available, cost-efficient, fault-tolerant, scalable systems, which I hate to tell you, I'm going to repeat it one more time, but this is the most critical section if you want to pass this exam, the AWS Solutions Architect. Okay, so we'll get into section 3, and I'll talk to you then.